Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Latino Vegano podcast. And I'm your host, Roger. And in today's episode, we are going to be discussing plant based protein versus animal protein and which are the best. Well, we'll be going over some of the recent VegNews articles comparing these two sources of protein. I'll also be sharing my personal experience as a vegan for over 20 plus years now, and now a pro bodybuilder for the last almost 10 years, and some of the best plant-based protein sources. And so join me so we can debunk this convo about plant versus animal protein. So let's get it. So episode number 165, and I do really appreciate y'all for always staying in tune with the podcast and what I always like to talk about. So I wanted to talk about this whole plant versus animal protein, especially because there's such a misconception out there about plant-based protein, and it's interesting because there's so many videos going on now, going viral about plant-based protein and how not a sustainable way of eating it is, and all these different things. But there have been so many vegans thriving for 20, 30, 40, 50 years eating this way, right? And they're doing great. And back then, there was not even that many options as we have right now. So it's interesting that we hear these comments every day about how plant-based protein has not a sustainable protein. So I recently read an article in VegNews that took a deep dive into whether plant or animal proteins are superior or which one is superior. The article presented recently research showing that plant protein like beans, lentils, and tofu contains all the essential amino acids our body needs. In fact, plant proteins has been shown to be just as effective as animal protein for building and maintaining muscle mass. I would even say that, in my opinion, they're even better because it's a lot of other saturated fats and other components and other things that animal protein has that plant-based protein does not have, including fiber. In addition, plant protein has proven health benefit like reducing LDL or the bad cholesterol and improving cardiovascular health. It also has much lower environmental impact than animal protein from industrial agriculture. On 2019, study found that replacing just 20% of calories from animal protein with plant-based protein could reduce global greenhouse gases emission for over 300 million tons. Just with that small change, we'll see how big impactful it is. As a vegan bodybuilder, who's also been plant-based or vegan for 20 years or more, I have never had issues getting enough protein from plant sources. On the contrary, I feel healthier and stronger than ever. So there's no doubt in my mind that plant protein is perfectly adequate for athletes and non-athletes alike. So what are some of the best plant-based protein sources that are out there, right? There are many great options to choose from. Like for athletes, like tofu, tempeh, seitan, pea protein, all contain the essential amino acids and are high in protein. Tofu at around 12 grams of protein per 100 grams. Tempeh, made from fermented soybean, has about 20 grams of protein per 100 grams, and even exceeding in meat in some cases. Then you got also seitan, which is extremely high in protein as well. And then, you can always supplement with protein powder if that's your thing. For people with more of the normal activity level, whole food like beans, lentils, nuts, and seeds provide adequate amount of protein. For example, 1 cup of cooked black beans has a close to 15 grams of protein, even though also beans are higher in carbohydrate. So they're feeding into that category. So in the contrary, but basically what I'm trying to say here is like you can get beans that have protein as well, and then you consider those also. They have protein, but they also consider part to be carbohydrate. Lentils contain around 18 grams of proteins per cooked cup. Nuts and seeds are another excellent protein option. They're also high in fat. 2 tablespoons of pumpkin or squash seeds have 10 grams of protein. The same goes for almonds and walnuts. So what we're saying is that no matter what food on the plant-based kingdom you choose, there might chances that you can find protein on those meals. For example, like a banana, even though it's high in carbohydrate, you can also find protein in that food. Kale, for example, you find protein, carbs, and you can also find fat in just kale. Then you have spinach, for example, which you have carbohydrate and you have protein. So all these different things has protein as well. So just the amount that you need or the amount that you want or require is what you need to focus here more than it's and more if it's actually protein or not. Why when people eat animal protein, they know those animals eating plant-based protein. So let's go straight to the source like we always say. By combining these foods, you can easily meet daily protein requirement without the need of supplemental protein powder. So if you have to eat, for example, I don't know, I'm gonna just use a hypothetical number, 150 grams of proteins daily per day. You can break that down in 4 or 5 meals during the day, and you're gonna hit that number. So you're gonna hit that number if you combine between nuts, seeds, beans. You can combine that fruits and vegetables. I mean, that combination of all these meals, 5 meals during the day, is gonna put you in that number. So, or any number that you're looking for, you just have to have a combination of these during the day, and then I'm not trying to chunk or eat one meal and then try to get 250 grams of protein in one meal or 200 grams, whatever that number is, in one meal. So you have to break it down during the day. You including snacks. You can have snacks that are really high in protein. You can have oatmeal, or you can have fruits. You can have a vegetable bowl or whatever the snack that you want to have. And then, but if you combine that in during the day, and you break it down in different meals, you definitely will be able to hit that number. Now, the question is, why does the misconception persist that meat and dairy are the only best sources of protein? Yeah, like why? Why is this? I believe it's largely due to the tradition, culture, and lack of knowledge about plant proteins. But people don't know. And if you don't know, it's just like you're ignorant, right? When you're ignorant, it's because you're not sure or you have no idea or what's going on. So you need to do some research on that and kind of get some knowledge. Like if I want to learn how to play the piano, I can just come and say, well, yeah, I'm the best piano player ever. I'm the next Mozart and whatnot. I can't be saying those things because at that point, my knowledge of playing the pianos is so little. So, but the more educated I get, the more practice I get, the more reps I get, like we're saying in the bodybuilding world, the better I turn out, the better I get, and the more knowledge I learn. So I'll give you a perfect example is competing or not. Let's not talk about bodybuilding, right? Let's talk about business, okay? So right now I'm in the process of learning how to manage a business, for example, a specific type of business, right? So with that process comes a learning curve. And I personally decided to say, you know what, I'm going to take the time and learn this craft very well. By the time I'm ready to launch this business, I have an edge because I took the time to learn the craft and get better at it. Yes, and then you can definitely learn on the fly, but it's better when you have some type of knowledge and then you apply that and then you keep refining that. I think for me, that's a better approach because one, it gives you confidence to launch or do whatever it is that you're doing. Like, let me give you an example. Let's say you prepping for a swimming meet or something around those lines. You want to get in the pool, swim a few times, get some coaching, and then you're like, you know what? I done my due diligence for the past months or so. I'm gonna try amateur meet for the first time. I'm gonna just go and compete to see where I stand. You have more confidence going to that competition as an amateur swimmer than if you try to do it like, you know what, I just like to swim, I'm just gonna go in the water and I'm gonna compete against everyone. Well, yeah, and that can work out, but everybody else might have an edge on you because they took the time to practice their stroke and do all the different things. So with that said, I'm trying to basically tell you guys that take the time, learn, and then you can have more ammunitions to speak about and then be better at explaining, and not only explaining, but at the same time talking about vegan. And that's what's happening with a lot of people. They don't really know. Like, it's completely new to them. It's like a foreign language, it's like a complete foreign thing. So since they have no idea what it is, they just say the first thing that comes to their mind. And then that's why we're lacking. We're lacking on education, and education can be in so many ways. So this is what's always been my main goal: is trying to educate you guys, trying to transfer a little bit of knowledge. Do it in Spanish, do it in English, do it in Portuguese at some point, and just being able to spread that out and help you guys kind of get some knowledge and transfer the knowledge that I learned in the last couple of years or decades, basically, when it came to living a vegan lifestyle. In many cultures, eating meat is equated with being a strong and healthy person, right? That's what it comes down to, right? But times are changing and awareness grows about the health and environmental benefit of a plant protein. My hope is this information will help debunk this myth and show that the plant proteins are an excellent source, complete option to also. In summary, while animal proteins certainly have a place in many traditional diet, growing research has shown that plant-based proteins are just as effective, are even better at providing all the essential amino acids that our bodies need. They are proven health environmental benefits as well, and as someone who has trained in the bodybuilder and mind as a vegan for decades, I can attest that plant proteins perfectly meets the proteins need. I hope this information is helpful for you guys, and I encourage you guys to further explore plant-based and the power of plant proteins, veganism, and the entire thing. And I invite you guys to read the full VegNews article, which I will link that video or that article in the description of this audio or video that you're watching, depending on which platform you are following us. And then don't forget to please follow us on Instagram and our YouTube channel, Latino y Vegano, for more vegan tips and recipes and anything related to veganism. Until next time, guys, I'll see you next time. Love you guys. Peace, vegan.